Hello and welcome back to Mexico News Network's Daily Report, broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. Keep informed about Mexico's day by day on our website www.mexiconewsnetwork.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course Google+. Oaxaca is a state in Mexico that's rich in natural beauty, delicious gastronomy, impressive archaeological sites, magnificent architecture, and some of the best-kept textile traditions. These cultural treasures date back to pre-Hispanic times and have been passed through generations. Today, they are still made with artisanal methods. In Oaxaca, there are many indigenous communities that have kept their textile traditions, from growing the plants to produce threads and textiles up to the most delicate hand embroidery details. We will be focusing on the traditional embroidery work done in several regions in Oaxaca. Embroidery was traditionally made with the tip of a leaf of maguey or agave. Nowadays, the steel needle has replaced this ancient technique. However, there is more to this craft than the actual technique. The reason to sew embroidery on their garments is to symbolize different things. Sometimes their dreams and aspirations, their life from the beginning to end. Some others are nature-inspired, reminiscent of the wild flora and fauna and green valleys of Oaxaca. Traditional embroidery from Oaxaca is like a clean canvas, ready to be filled with dreams, stories, and magic. The Mazateco community is San Juan Bartolome Ayautla, is one of the indigenous groups that still embroider their traditional clothing by hand. The garments are done in cotton and rayon and use embroidery hoops to trace the outline of the figure and fill it with a vertical satin stitch. Embroidery in this community has been sought out since the 90s, thanks to the government and civil organizations helping hands. They also work on different products such as pillowcases, bags, and vests. Another community known for their intricate embroidery is Amuzgo, located in San Pedro Amuzgos in Oaxaca, and also in the state of Guerrero. The community located in Oaxaca named themselves as Zon Non, which means town of yarn, soft yarn, or wick. They sew their personal dreams and aspirations in horizontal lines across three-section huipil traditional dress-like garment. Next up is probably the best-known indigenous embroidery known from Mexico, the Zapoteco, which is made up of several communities. We will be addressing two of the ones that make the most delicate and detailed embroidery. Starting off with the Zapoteco community is San Antonio Castillo Velasco, who are known for an intricate embroidery known as Make Me If You Can, a gather stitch that creates pleating on the cotton garment. The white blouse is filled with numerous colorful flowers that reminds us of the thick flora of the area. And last but certainly not least, we have the Zapoteco community located at the Istmo de Tehuantepec. Women of this community are often called Tehuanas. Their garments are done with dark velvet, big colorful flowers, embroidery, and silk ruffles on the bottom of the skirt. They also wear a special headdress done with white-plated lace, which is started to maintain its form. This traditional clothing was worn by the famed Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. This is just the beginning of the Mexican embroidery, giving the vast amount of indigenous communities that still handmade their garments, a tradition that has remained since pre-Hispanic times, and it has become a trademark for Mexican identity. Culture is, of course, not restricted to artisanal crafts. Film is also an important part of Mexico's rich cultural history. Since the creation of the cinematograph and invasion from the Lumiere brothers, the fascination for capturing every aspect of life and dreams of men has not stopped since. It was August 6, 1896, when General Porfirio Diaz, his family, and political associates became the first cinema spectators in Mexico, as Bernard and Gabriel Veire, representatives of the Lumiere brothers, have settled in the castle of Chapultepec, Mexico's first cinematograph. During their stay, they didn't only amaze everyone with this new invention, but captured the first moving images of the country, views of Chapultepec Forest, the military college, and the baths of Spain. It is said that Porfirio Diaz was the first actor of Mexican cinema, as Bernard and Gabriel Varep portrayed this character at different times. After the outbreak of the Mexican Revolution, the filming of landscapes of the country ceased, and some filmmakers, such as the engineer Salvador Toscano, captured iconic moments of this social movement. After the revolution, several minor productions took place. However, who actually returned to relive the rage for films were the Italians, as in 1915 the film Il Fuoco was exhibited in the country, and its romantic plot enticed the Mexican audience and started getting women very interested in the industry. In 1917, the first Mexican film, Life, Triptych of Modern Life, was produced, which was a copy of Fire. This production was initiated at the early stage of the golden age for Mexican cinema, a time when movies were silent. With the arrival of World War II, the second golden age of Mexican cinema began with Santa. In its second version was the movie that started this explosion of films. It was the first in the country to introduce sounds, voices, and music in coordination with the projected images. An abundant production and a settled market was a formula for the emergence of a new generation of directors such as Emilio Fernandez, Ismael Rodriguez, Julio Bracho, Roberto Gabaldon, among others. They were responsible for the unveiling of Mexican film industry as works like Nosotros los Pobres, Salón México, Doña Bárbara, Maclovia, and El Rey del Barrio were titles that won global recognition. These films propelled the careers of many actors and actresses, making them true stars of the national cinema. The big screen was graced with impressive performances and the beautiful faces of the divas of the golden age. Actresses such as Dolores del Rio, Lupita Vélez, María Félix, Katy Jurado, Sara Montiel, Silvia Pinal, Elsa Aguirre, and Marga Lopez were among the group of women considered divas for their excellent performances. Some of them even worked for foreign filmmakers. Mexico society also idolized male personalities as Pedro Infante, Luis Aguilar, Emilio Fernandez, Jorge Negrete, and Pedro Armendáriz, since their roles on the big screen proudly represented part of the Mexican identity of that time. During the serial of the great talent behind Mexico's film industry, biographies of the personalities who made history in the filming industry will be revealed. Actors, actresses, producers, and directors who are still present in the memory of thousands of people. In the next release, we will know more about the legend Maria Felix, her incredible foray into feature films, career, men who love, and her strong temperament, which earned her the nickname La Doña. And of course, indeed, it is difficult not to speak of Mexico's film history without exploring the legend that was Maria Felix, the greatest portrayal and interpretation of a diva in the cinema industry in Mexico. A legend of the big screen and precursor of an entire culture is Maria Felix. She is in Mexico's diva on the big and small screen and was born on April 8th, 1914 at the El Quiriego Ranch in Alamo, Sonora. The beauty and character of Maria Felix made her the ideal romantic woman archetype of doom of female pride. She was ahead of her time during her rise and career, since she portrayed across something that the traditional Mexican women didn't. And so she started constructing her own reputation as a strong-willed, independent female, which was very different to what the majority of the actresses were doing at the time, and only played the role of Mexican submissive women. Her father, a Yaqui descendant, married a woman of Basque origin. She had 12 brothers, a close and somewhat tragic relation with his brother Pablo, and an unusual childhood for a Mexican girl because her time was spent enjoying a boy's own interest. She attended college in Guadalajara, where she was crowned queen of a school because of her broad appeal. From that moment onwards, Maria Felix knew how to manage such beauty and admiration from the male audience, and hence started building over the years the character of the goddess of Mexican cinema that we all remember her for. She traveled to Mexico City at the beginning of the 40s, where she was discovered on the street while she was randomly looking at dressers. From the beginning of her career, she showed grandeur and confidence to express so much strength and charm, which led her to open her own way through the world of cinema, luxury and eccentricity in 1942. Her first film was El Peñón de las Ánimas, and she made more than 40 in total, counting domestic and foreign productions, feature films, and documentaries. She also participated in special programs, soap operas, and long hours TV specials, and she definitely did outstandingly by breaking rating records. Doña Bárbara, the film that got her the nickname La Doña, La Mujer Sin Alma, Enamorada, Río Escondido, Maclovia, French Cancan, La Escondida, Tizoc, and La Cucaracha are perhaps her most representative films and the ones that consolidate her career and figure of Spanish-speaking cinema. She participated with great actors like Pedro Armendáriz, Jorge Negrete, Ignacio López Tarso, Emilio El Indio Fernández, Rossano Brazzi, Gerard Philippe, Fernando Fernán Gómez, and many more. Also, she worked with great directors of world cinema such as Jean Renoir and Luis Buñuel. Enrique Álvarez Torres was her first husband and father of her only son. Enrique Álvarez Félix, her biggest fan, who died in 1996. Later in 1945, she would marry the Flaco de Oro, Agustín Lara, author of the beautiful name of María Bonita, with whom she would make one of the most representative couples of the Showtime industry in Mexico until 1947. After a few years in France, she returned to Mexico in 1952 and married her former enemy in the industry, Jorge Negrete, who unfortunately passed away 11 months after in 1953. Finally, Maria Felix married for the fourth time in 1956 with banker Alex Beger, who was widowed 18 years later. La Doña was legend even in life. Without her, the Mexican film and television industry and the role of women in the screen would not be the same. Carlos Monsiváis described her as a succession of attire, close-ups, attitudes, and memorable phrases, as well as a person who saw in luxury the stage of her inner strength. Maria Felix died, interestingly, the same date of her birth, April 8, 2002. And now, I'm very excited to present my friend Hannah. Hannah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, fine, fine. Well, you told me that you are on your honeymoon.
Yes, I am.
Are you happy? Of course, you're
yes,
happy.
I'm thrilled to be here. It's paradise here.
Is this your first time in Cancun,
Yes.
in the Riviera Maya?
Exactly.
And what were your expectations before you come here?
Well, I knew the weather would be beautiful, but I didn't expect something so much of a paradise. Just I feel like I don't have to think, I can just relax and everything is done for me, and the people here are so friendly and happy, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere.
So would you come later? Are you planning to come maybe the next year, maybe the next month? Who knows?
And live here?
Maybe you can live here, of course. So I was asking you about what do you think about the place and the colors of the sea.
Yes.
It's almost the same color as the pool.
Exactly. It's so different from anything we have in America, and it's so much more beautiful, and you can see the fish and the dolphins and everything, so I love it.
And what do you think about the food?
Oh my goodness, I've been eating since I came here. It's just gourmet. It's more than I can ever imagine and more than I can ever have in America also.
Well, we are really excited to have you here. She's also, well, as we told you, she's in her honeymoon and have a great time.
Yes.
And you can paint these things here.
Exactly.
And you can do whatever you want here. And also I have one last question. What do you think that we have a TV set here in the hotel?
It's amazing, you know, just to walk by, and I feel like it really brings a bit of the Mexican culture here as well, in the midst of all the beach and everything that we have here.
You didn't expect that.
No, not at all.
You expect only the pool, beach, restaurant, but a TV set is
Right,
like,
exactly.
Oh my God, what is it?
And especially that everything is positive news. You know, when you come on vacation, you want to relax and hear positive things, and you don't want the politics and all the negative things the news usually reports. So just have
That's
something
great to hear.
positive. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah. Have
Thank
a
you
great,
too.
great
Thank
stay.
you so much.
And we hope to see you soon here.
Thank you. I
okay?
appreciate it.
We're going to have more information after these brief messages. Stay with us.